Cuban Pops. John, you okay, man? You doing better?
You can't.
Taking it easy tonight. I'm drinking natural lights. So how many of you really believe that the establishment will allow Elon Musk to purchase Twitter? Because the left is having a fucking meltdown right now. Red box stock is going to soar. How so? Stefan the Cookie Cutter. Elon Musk's favorite word is fuck. Every third or fourth word in a sentence is fuck. He's doing that on purpose. Is Elon Musk from New Jersey? Nah, he's from South Africa. So we got Elon Musk at the brink of owning Twitter, which I'm still skeptical that they're going to sell it to him. We have the idiot during Earth Day set himself on fire in front of the DC Capitol. We've got the mass shooting that happened in DC, which the media isn't talking about it because it doesn't fit their narrative. He did it, Delray Ripper. He's got it. Oh my God. Now here comes the question. We already know Christopher Overholt. Thank God baseball's back. If Elon Musk is going to allow Trump to come back on Twitter, does that mean Roger Stone is going to be back allowed on Twitter? Will Alex Jones be back? Will be allowed on Twitter again as well? Man, I really hope it's true. I hope it's official. I hope that Elon Musk has purchased Twitter. Enough with these sensitive little motherfuckers that need a safe space because they can't handle what someone is saying. Unfucking real. Father, I just got off the phone with you. You said not to go live with you because you're trashed. Did you see all the fucking guns? Did you see all the fucking guns that they got from the guy? The guy that went on a fucking mass shooting? Stefan the Cookie Cutter. if it hasn't been said yet, I think Bezos bought MGM. Father, fuck you. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Danny the Machine bodybuilder. Man, these cools hit pretty good. Well, Father's poolside.
Yeah.
Father's poolside.
Right.
You know, Jay, I'm starting to get something, man. My chest is starting to feel heavy. I'm starting to cough and shit. A good friend of mine said that the only remedy for that is semen. Do you think that's true?
Who's your friend, Lenny?
Nah, he's kind of famous. He'll remain nameless.
Is it guys cum or female cum?
He said semen. Women have semen?
No, if they're trannies, it's female cum.
Oh, okay. So there's a difference.
Right.
Hey, I don't know about you, but I can't wait for Donald Trump to come on Twitter. Oh, my God. Every time he tweets something, you can see all these assholes come along and just have a fucking meltdown. I can't wait. You should get a Twitter account.
What's your hat say? Mustache Mafia?
Mustache Melissa.
Yeah, we need that t-shirt.
Oh. Some of these fucking screen names. Pete Piana. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Trump says he's not going back to it? Esteban Ten Bears. Esteban Ten Bears, are you an Outlaws Josie Wales fan?
Oh, I love that movie.
You gonna draw your pistols or whistle Dixie? Look away, look away, look away, Dixieland.
I used to have a black powder 44 back in the day, and I bought it just because of the outlaw Joseph Wales.
Was that an antique?
No, as a kid.
Oh.
Ghost gun.
You remember the main villain in that movie?
Oh, I'm fucking drunk.
Main villain in that movie, his name was Red Legs.
WEMU. Oh, awesome RX muscle. No, it wasn't an awesome RX muscle yesterday. Father and Cuban never ordered 66 on RX muscle. So everything that went down last night was the trolls taking things in their own hands. WEMU, you're wrong. It was not awesome.
That's the thing. That's the agreement of the treaty.
Yeah.
As far as we're not talking about people's family.
Right. And I honor that. And they were attacking Johnny Romano's son for allegedly being a homosexual, which, for one thing, we've never verified it. For another thing, he's family. Even if the poor kid is gay, leave him alone. For Christ's sake. If he wants to be gay, that's none of our business.
Oh. I'm saying fuck it tonight, man. I'm ordering pizza. Anybody been keeping up with the NFL draft?
Yeah. Your team, the Jaguars.
Yeah, we got number 1. We'll fuck
Yeah.
that up. We'll fuck that up somehow.
Well, Detroit has number 2. They don't think Michigan's defensive end, Aiden Hutchinson, is going to go past number 2. Either Jacksonville or Detroit's going to take him.
Well, Jacksonville, they got an offensive player last year. They may as well go defense. I don't know. I don't see how it could hurt.
I like Aiden Hutchinson.
No, the kid's a player. The kid's a player.
Biased. And I really don't like Detroit taking a Wolverine, to be honest, because there's not a good history there.
And there's going to be the Detroit Lions drafting a kid out of Michigan at number 2. That's going to put too much expectations and shit on that kid.
Yeah, but he's bringing it on himself. He's been at the Detroit Red Wings hockey games. He's been at the Detroit Tigers baseball games. He's embracing it.
That means there have been phone calls behind the scene, all hush hush and everything.
Sound like yeah, there's been a lot of conversations behind the scenes. 50 DMs this morning.
Yeah, the way those things happen, you got the not the manager, but the agent for the athlete. That agent has already been in contact with the top 5 teams. That agent already knows which team is going to pick his client. And the kid, if you're saying he's going to fucking Detroit Red Wings games, did he go to any Tigers games this year yet?
I just said. He was there when Cabrera hit 3,000.
Oh, my God.
Was wearing a Tigers jersey that said Hutchinson on the back.
You know, Jay, I recently watched. I thought of you when I was watching it. It was the 1968 season of Major League Baseball, and I'm sorry.
Kenny McLean.
They showed how the season went for the Detroit Tigers, how the season went for the St. Louis Cardinals. They both met up at the World Series. The Detroit Tigers came back. They came back from being down 3 games. They had only won 1 game, and they lost 3. The one pitcher that they had, it wasn't their number 1. Their number 1 pitcher, that guy won the Cy Young, the MVP. The second pitcher behind him, he fucking literally dominated the World Series compared to him.
You're talking about
He ended up winning the World Series.
Denny McLean was the number 1 pitcher in 1968. The Tigers' number 2 pitcher was Mickey Lolich. Mickey Lolich won 3 World Series games in that series.
He dominated that series.
Who wins 3 World Series games?
Randy Johnson?
Mickey Lolich.
Now, the fascinating part of that story is that the year before, Lolich, he's pitching in games, and then you had the riots that occurred in Detroit because of the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. That poor guy, he would pitch a game and literally run back to the locker room, change into his, I guess you would call them fatigues, because he was part of the National Guard. And he would literally have to go out with the National Guard after every fucking game.
Dude, Mickey Lowe was such a dude. You know what Mickey Lolich did after he retired from the Tigers?
What's that?
Oh, yeah. He opened a donut shop up in Lake Orion, Michigan, which is just north of the Palace of Auburn Hills, where the Pistons played. Mickey Lolich turned into a donut maker after winning series games. He was a man of the people.
God bless him.
Right.
And here's a little unknown fact. That 68 series between the Detroit Tigers and the St. Louis Cardinals, one or two of the guys from the St. Louis Cardinals, actually one of them, he got a phone call from Roger Maris. And Roger Maris told him, said, listen, you're not going to have a problem with McClain. You're going to have a problem with Lolich. You're going to have a tougher time with Lolich in this series than you will with McClain. He called it. He told him. He warned him ahead of time.
Oh.
That was a great documentary. Great documentary.
And the Cardinals are the number one pitcher in the country, that African-American fella. I mean, the Cardinals.
Yeah, he had a 1.12 ERA, and no one has had a lower ERA since in a season. And he won the Cy Young and the MVP as well for the National League. Oh my God, Bob Gibson fucking hated everyone. He hated everyone. He even hated his own fucking teammates. No, he couldn't fucking get along with anybody. Holy shit.
You know, after the 68 season, that's when they lowered the pitching mound.
Which I completely disagree with it. Yeah, because everyone had that was the lowest batting average in a season from MLB that they have ever seen. And I think maybe out of both leagues, only two guys hit 300 or better.
Denny McClain won 31 games that year, and Major League Baseball stepped in and said, no one's going to ever win 31 games ever again.
Yeah, I completely disagree with that. They should have never lowered the pitching mound. Sooner or later, the hitters can adjust. Sooner or later, they'll fucking adjust. But they didn't want to wait for it. They didn't want. I mean, those numbers that McClain had and Bob Gibson had, that shit that you saw in the early 1900s, it was fucking. What they did was fucking unheard of.
What do you mean adjust? Pete Rose had over 4,000 hits.
Hitters adjust, Jay. Hitters can adjust. The good hitters can adjust.
I agree.
Now, Pete Rose that year, that was another thing about the documentary. They showed you that even that year, with as dominant as the pitchers were, Pete Rose had over 200 fucking hits. I think he had like 214 hits. I think he led the major leagues in hits that year.
Dude, earlier today, I was hanging out with a couple here in the pool that are Cincinnati Reds fans.
Oh, my God.
I named 6 out of the 9 starters from the Big Red Machine.
Remember, they had a Cuban.
Cesar Geronimo.
No.
On
He ended up
Conception.
he ended up becoming one of the managers for the Marlins. I cannot believe I forgot his name. Son of a bitch.
Let me go through the lineup. Oh, I forgot about George Foster. That's one of the ones I forgot. All right, so you got Johnny Bench at catcher. Third base, you got Pete Rose. Shortstop, you got Dave Concepcion. Second base, you got Joe Morgan. In the outfield, you got Cesar Geronimo and George Foster. So I'm missing like two.
The other guy you're missing, I think it's the Cuban. God damn it! I cannot believe I've forgotten his fucking name. At least I remember Cepeda fucking played for St. Louis.
Yeah, you're not even a real Cincinnati Reds fan if you can't name every player on the Big Red Machine. When a Detroit Tiger fan like myself can name, 6 out of 9 while drinking, and then later in the day go 7 out of 9.
Well, I myself, you can thank Marge Schott for me not liking the Cincinnati Reds. Every year, I have nothing against the Cincinnati Reds as a franchise. I've got nothing against any of their players. All their players, they can get all the awards, accolades, whatever, I don't care. But whenever they play against the St. Louis Cardinals, they cannot lose by enough. They can't. That's just me. You can thank Marge Schott for that.
So who's the first base for the Big Red Machine? I can't think of it. And
I can't either.
Who's the missing outfielder? I can't name.
Either the Cuban played first base or he played in the outfield. I can't remember his fucking name. I cannot believe I can't remember his name. My dad would slap me across the face right now.
I'll slap you across the face.
Ooh, hurt me. Beat me, mistreat me. Tony Perez! Perez!
He was in the outfield. He wasn't. Wasn't he in the outfield?
Yeah, he had to play in the outfield. I don't remember him playing first base.
So who was the first baseman for the Big Red Machine? That's the $1 million question right now. We got the whole lineup nailed down. And we're talking 73, 74, 75. We're going way back. But it's probably the greatest lineup in baseball ever.
You remember Pete Rose's nickname?
Charlie Hustle.
Charlie Hustle. I remember the stories my father telling me before Pete Rose. It was a story about Pete Rose before he got into the major leagues. He was about to either be drafted or however they did things back then. And there were these guys talking about Pete Rose. They're like, have you seen this guy, Pete Rose? He can go from home base to first in so many seconds. And someone says, well, that's average. And the person looks at him and says, on a base on balls? On a base on balls? Oh shit.
I'm a Pete Rose fan.
We'll never have another player like Pete Rose. That All-Star game where that catcher blocked the plate and he fucking knocked the shit out of him. It was almost as if Pete Rose took it personal that the catcher blocked the plate.
You play to win the game.
Oh my God.
Play to win the game. It's not like the NBA All-Stars. It's not like the NFL Pro Bowl. Charlie Hustle played to win the game. 24/7, 365.
Oh,
But you know who was a better base runner than Charlie Hustle? Was the legendary Tiger, Ty Cobb.
Ty Cobb was the very first baseball player inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. A lot of people don't know that. He was the first guy. What's that?
That's true.
It's absolutely true. Jay, they had no choice. They had no choice. He had to be the first one they inducted. He was the last guy at the time to hit 400. He hit 400 I don't know how many times. He had before Pete Rose broke the record. He was the leader, all-time leader in hits. Now there is an urban legend. There is an urban legend about Ty Cobb in that he would file his spikes before every game, and he would go feet first into second base.
Hi. Yeah, that's the truth. That's Detroit baseball. You go in spikes high. You want to make that throw to first? I'm going to scar up your shins.
Ha!
Yeah, you want to make a double play on Ty Cobb? I'm cutting you. That's why nobody likes Ty Cobb. He played to win the game.
Did you ever see that movie with
Yes.
You saw the HBO movie that they made about him?
Sure.
Oh my. Yeah, it was with Tommy Lee Jones played Ty Cobb in the made for HBO movie. Oh my God.
Yeah, and he shoots the buck out of his window when he's hammered. I got him. No, I got him. And the guy writing the autobiography is like, no, you missed him, Ty. You got to go back to bed. You're drunk. And after Ty Cobb died, they found the body of that buck. After the snow melted, they found the body of that buck.
He fucking shot him.
Yes. The Georgia peach.
You know, there's another urban legend about Ty Cobb. Who was the legendary outfielder for the White Sox that was great... What?
Joe Jackson.
There's an urban legend that, and I believe it was the state of Georgia, Ty Cobb was going through the state of Georgia, and he went to a gas station, and apparently this gas station was owned by Shoeless Joe Jackson. And he went in there, he realized who he was, and he looked at him, and he said, you know, Joe, I always felt that what they did to you was flat out wrong.
That's a true story. I'm going to start crying.
That's a real moment right there. I mean, people think that Ty Cobb is this heartless fucking bastard. How many of you know that Ty Cobb was in the First World War? He took time off of baseball to go fight in the First World War. A lot of people don't know that. The guy was a fucking alpha. Jesus Christ.
Sure, I know that story. And I'm a Detroiter.
Everyone can look that up. He fought in the First World War.
Wow.
Think about the time that he missed in baseball, fighting in that First World War, all of the stats that he could have accumulated if he stayed in baseball, then go fight in that First World War.
You know, Ty Cobb hated Babe Ruth with a passion. And He thought he was a big fat slob and he was ruining baseball. Ty Cobb said, "You know what? Screw this guy. I can show you people how easy it is to hit home runs." And for one season, I don't know the year, but Ty Cobb, just to show up Babe Ruth, I think he hit like 40 or 50 home runs one season. And then the very next season, he went back to playing baseball the correct way.
Yeah, the very next year, he probably hit 12 home runs.
Because the object of baseball is to put people on base, and then you bunt or you get walked and you move the runner around and you score because you play to win the game. And Ty Cobb hated Babe Ruth. Hated him with a passion.
It was in that movie. He called him a fat fuck and everything. Oh my God. Tommy Lee Jones as Ty Cobb was just great. It was great. It was almost as if the way they made this movie, it's like Ty Cobb was a supervillain and he just embraced it. He loved every moment of it.
Yes, he was. Watch Kevin Costner in Field of Dreams. They portray Ty Cobb the same way. Well, Ty Cobb wanted to come play, but we all hate that son of a bitch.
Oh my God.
Nobody likes.
I like the baseball player Ty Cobb. I'm sorry. As a man, I don't know who he is. All we have to go by is what's been documented. But just the thought of him meeting up, face to face with shoeless Joe Jackson and him telling Joe, Joe, what they did to you was flat out wrong. I always thought that. It's like the guy wasn't fucking heartless, man. If the guy was heartless, he wouldn't have gone and fought in World War I.
Did I ever tell you that my girlfriend Linda, that her great grandfather's in the Baseball Hall of Fame? Don't give me those eyes. I can't remember his name. It's like Anders or I can't remember his name. I could call Linda in a New York minute and get his name. But man.
Do you remember what team?
No.
Fuck.
Linda's mother's grandfather is in the Baseball Hall of Fame. And I swear to God, Linda as a child went to Cooperstown to see the bust. Father took her there with the whole family to see their great-grandfather. Anders, I can't remember his name, but oh man, he was just like Ty Cobb. He was a pioneer against the Negro League. He modern day people might see him as a very bad person, because he was one of the biggest proponents of letting Negroes into baseball. Wish I knew his name. I can get it in a New York minute, but this live will be over. Yes. My girlfriend's great-grandfather is in the Baseball Hall of Fame. And he was so racist that he dedicated his life to keeping Negroes out of Major League Baseball.
Here's also a little known fact about the Negro Leagues, what a lot of people don't know. The Negro Leagues, you had, for instance, I remember there was once a team that had one or two Native Americans on it, and the Native Americans literally had to go to the Negro Leagues and play. Uh-oh. We have a pausing. Hopefully the phone hasn't fallen in the water. Or someone's calling him. And the pausing continues. Yeah, but as far as the Negro Leagues, when the Negro Leagues was active and the blacks were not allowed to play Major League Baseball, Native Americans, Hispanics, anyone dark-complected, they had to go play in the Negro Leagues. Anyway. Oh, shit. All right, guys. I think that's enough for tonight. Oh, wait a minute, he's back. Join. Well, there were those of us that were afraid that you dropped the phone in the water.
No, I had to text Linda.
Now, I was just telling the fans that back in the day when the Negro Leagues were active and blacks were not allowed to play in Major League Baseball, if you were dark-complected, you had to go play in the Negro Leagues. If you were Native American, if you were Hispanic, you had to play in the Negro Leagues. A lot of people don't know that. So there were a lot of Hispanics playing in the Negro Leagues.
Not gonna cry it. All right, you ready for the name?
Yes.
Baseball Hall of Fame. Linda's mother's grandfather. Cap Anson. Capanson. Cap Anson. Look it
Why
up.
does that name sound familiar? That sounds like in the era that Ty Cobb played in.
He was before Ty Cobb.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Linda's mother, her maiden name was Anson. And her grandfather was Cap Anson. And Cap
Shit.
star in baseball. And he kind of ruined his career. I don't know if he ruined it or whatever, but if you look at Cap Anson's biography, he was the most instrumental person in all of baseball trying to keep Negroes out of baseball.
Christopher Overholt is saying that he played for the Chicago Cubs.
Probably. Has he already Googled Cap Anson?
He probably did because the Chicago Cubs, I mean, shit, they've been around since, what, 18-something?
Yeah, they haven't won a championship since 1908. They're bums. Yeah. Yeah. My girlfriend, her great-grandfather was Cap Anson.
Oh, shit.
And it
Oh,
historical racist. Like, not just a racist, historical racist. Like, fought tooth and nail to keep blacks out of baseball.
you know, Jay, I've never said this to you, but I have a denim jacket that's one of a kind. And it was given to my grandfather my dad's dad. And it's a Negro League jacket. It's a Negro League denim jacket. I'm gonna have to show it to you one day. I've worn it in public a few times, and people that have seen it, they're like, "Man, you put that jacket down, I'm stealing it from you."
Why don't you send it to the Baseball Hall of Fame? Why would you wear that?
I've only worn it twice, and I've kept it secure under plastic in my closet. I wore it because I could still smell my grandfather on it.
That's disgusting. Well, you Cuban people stink. You have a certain odor to you.
It belonged to my grandfather, Jay. It belonged to my grandfather.
Okay, well,
You would have loved him. You would have loved him. As soon as he saw you, he would want to feed you.
why? Because I'm fat?
Okay.
Did I ever tell the fans about when my mom was dating Rusty Staub?
What?
You don't know the story?
Rusty Staub?
A famous New York Met, Montreal, and then the Tigers.
Holy shit.
You don't know this story?
I claim ignorance. I have no idea.
When Rusty Staub was with the Tigers, my father hadn't passed away yet, but they were separated, and my mother was dating Rusty Staub. Rusty Staub came to our house one time, and I'm on the front porch throwing a tennis ball up against a brick wall, and all of a sudden Rusty Staub pulls up into our driveway, and he walks up on the porch, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, I'm working on my pitching skills." And he's like, "Well, you need to be using a real baseball." And I said, "Well, I don't have one." And he just shook his head. He walked inside, and he went in the door. But no, but when Rusty Staub was dating my mom, that's in the Mark Fidrich era of the Tigers. Do you know who Mark the Bird Fidrich is?
It sounds familiar.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Do you know who Mark the Bird Fidrich is?
Forgive me, Jay. I'm a National League guy. Forgive me.
Oh. Mark the Bird Fidrich was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. But anyway, yeah, I went to a game. I went to one game when my mom was dating Rusty Staub, and we were sitting behind home plate, where all the wives sit, and the Bird, Mark the Bird Fidrich was pitching. I think he won like 20 games that year. So anyway, Ron LaFleur, Jason Thompson, Aurelio Rodriguez. So anyway, all right, here, I'm like a 9-year-old kid, right? Mom's dating Rusty Staub, and I'm there with my mom and the best man in my father's wedding, a man named Win Guthrie, the best man in my father's wedding, because that was my mom's best friend. Also happened to be my father's best man in their wedding. Still a friend of the family. He lives in Delray Beach. That's one of the reasons my mom moved to Delray Beach, because the best man in my parents' wedding lives in Delray Beach. That's why I live in Delray Beach. The best man in my parents' wedding, my father's best friend, lives in Delray Beach. So anyway, back in those days, women couldn't get in the locker room. So unfortunately, I couldn't go alone, because I was a 9-year-old kid. So my mom's friend, Win Guthrie, had to escort me. And so I'm in there like an idiot with my program, getting all the Tigers signing my program. And man, the one thing that stuck out in my mind of being in a pro ball, back in those days, the locker rooms were different. I mean, the carpeting in that place was tiger stripe. I've never seen carpeting like that in my life before, after, since. It was literally orange and black tiger stripe. It was the most beautiful carpeting I've ever seen in my life. And I walk in there, and all these blacks have got their wangs hanging out. Like, I've never seen dicks that big. And not kidding.
Shit.
So I'm walking in there like as a 9-year-old kid, I got everybody's autograph, and it was one of the best experiences of my life.
Kind of reminds me of the old Richard Pryor joke. Richard Pryor talked about these black guys on a bridge taking a piss. One black guy says, "Man, the water's cold." The other black guy says, "Yeah, and it's deep too." Ah, shit.
Back in those days, there were no women in the locker rooms. And back in those days, they had alcohol in the locker room.
Listen, I'm old enough to remember because my dad played for a long time. Well, not for a long time. He played a few years in the minors. Oh, we got pausing again. Yes, I know this is supposed to be a political live, but Father decided to jump in. We got to be fluid with these things. Whatever, it's fine. But I remember because my dad played for a few years in the minors. There was a time where the Yankees would have their training camp here in Fort Lauderdale. And I remember going into that Yankee locker room during you would call it preseason. But I remember one of the things that I saw was this huge bowl. And it looked like it had candy in it, but it was really pills. And what I found out later, much later, years later, that was fucking amphetamines. So there was a time in baseball, I mean, I'm not saying it's in every locker room, but they would have a fucking bowl of amphetamines in the middle of the fucking locker room along with food or whatever, beer. But anyway, yeah, I think it's time to end this live. You guys have a good night.